I have a confession to make. I use artificial intelligence. Not a little bit. Use it like all the time. But I'm not ashamed or embarrassed because I use it selectively. I use it to research articles and video topics. I use it to create thumbnail images for my YouTube videos, something that is a bit of a pain without AI. I use it to summarize my videos and my podcasts. Could do it myself, but it's slow and I'd rather use my time for something far more useful. And I also use it to produce slideshows because, frankly, I hate PowerPoint with a passion. I draw the line at having it right for me, though. AI might have absorbed the sum of all human knowledge, but I'm still not entirely convinced that it possesses the requisite skills to manipulate language in quite the same way as a skilled human being. That being said, I now have an AI agent that acts as my editor, checking my work for spelling, grammar, and flow before I press the publish button. And I've named my editor Nobby because most of the editors I've encountered over the years have been quite knobby. Nobby is my spelling and grammar checker, my thesaurus and language arbiter, my editorial co-pilot. And Nobby is the reason I'm reframing my thoughts on AI's place in construction in general and in the cab of demolition and construction equipment in particular. Before we get into that, I'd like you to cast your minds back maybe a decade to when the industry belatedly recognized the true benefits of automatic quick couplers. They were sold initially, at least, partly on health and safety lines, but also on the fact that operators would no longer be required to stand in the rain while changing attachments, which most refuse to do anyway. But there was an unspoken additional benefit that was perhaps bigger than keeping operators dry. The addition of an oil quick, a steel wrist, or a Lenhoff ensured that the operator always had the right tool for the right job. Suddenly, instead of trying to make do with a grab where a shear might be more appropriate, the operator can drop off that grab, pick up the shear, and be back to work in a matter of seconds. So, what's all that got to do with AI, I hear you ask? Allow me to explain. Most modern equipment now has a software based operating system in the cab. That system controls a multitude of functions. It monitors the status of things like fuel consumption, engine temperature, and much more besides. That system also allows the operator to dial the machine to his or her preferences, a bit like choosing the right tool for the right job. Only it's not. Dropping off an attachment is relatively easy. You just lower the tool, disengage the coupler, pick up the replacement tool, re engage the coupler, get on with your job. Selecting specific machine parameters to suit specific applications, materials, or conditions, however, requires a great deal more brainpower. Operators have to go into the system settings, find the right submenu, select the necessary function, and change the settings. It is, as they say, a whole thing. Unless you're a computer whiz, you'll probably end up doing what most other operators do: dial your machine in once and then never change it again. But what if those parameters could be handed off to an AI? And what if, rather than having to reprogram the system, you could just tell it what you needed? Imagine if you're digging in some pretty soft material. You've got the engine revs turned down to conserve fuel, and because, frankly, the material doesn't require maximum power. But then you come across some hard rock. With the help of AI, you could change your machine setup just as easily as you can change attachments using a quick coupler. Or imagine that you could do what I have done and have your own AI agent or co pilot working to support you. For the first couple of hours of your working day, you're just straight digging. So you tell your co-pilot to set the machine for that application. But round about 11:30, you switch over to truck loading. Using nothing more complex than your voice, you tell your co-pilot to reconfigure the machine for loading duties. Then in the afternoon, you're processing steel. You switch from bucket to shearer, and even as you're picking up your tool, your co-pilot has reconfigured the machine yet again. Take it even further. I use Nobby, my AI editor, to find and correct my mistakes. Operators could do the same. An AI could monitor each activity and make recommendations on how productivity might be increased or fuel burn might be decreased. For example, reposition the excavator or the wagons so you're slewing through 90 degrees rather than 180. Need to know how to perform a new task either with or on the machine? No need to reach for the operator manual. Just ask your version of Nobby. In fact, if your version of Nobby is anything like mine, it won't just show you how to do a thing, it will then do it for you. Until now, the balancing of AI and human beings has been viewed through the lens of either or. But what if we reframe that argument not as either or, but as well as man, machine, and the software between them working in perfect harmony and each enhancing the other? The history of construction is a story of human innovation, creating tools that enhance, not replace the operator. The quick coupler liberated the operator to be more versatile. An AI copilot potentially offers the next great leap forward by liberating them from complex system settings. That's not about fully autonomous machines eliminating jobs. It's about giving the operator a tireless, expert assistant that ensures they always have the right setting for the right job. By embracing that as well as mentality, we could turn a machine operator into a machine manager, achieving levels of safety, efficiency, and productivity the industry has only dreamed of. Now, I'm off for a chat with Nobby.